Hello and welcome back to Diary of a Medium Stories from the Spirit World podcast. Today I am super excited to have June Mack joining me on this episode. Let me tell you a little bit about June. She's an internationally renowned spirit channel and intuitive coach and guide for the awakened entrepreneur and the founder of the Little Psychic School. It's a global loved platform dedicated to intuitive development, spiritual growth, and soul-led business education. And over the past 5 years, she's built a soul-aligned, purpose-driven business that supports her family and fulfills her calling. Through the Little Psychic podcast, her award-winning children's book, Remembering Grandpa, and her high-level coaching containers, June has guided hundreds of light workers, visionaries, and intuitive professionals to awaken their gifts, create lives and businesses of freedom and meaning. And she's also an Oz mumpreneur. I try and get my tongue around that, award winner and finalist in 2 categories. And June has also signed one of the authors for the upcoming 2026 Oz Mumpreneur anthology book, Trust and Transformation. I'm excited to hear about that. And her work blends intuition, strategy, and energetic embodiment, helping others live their purpose while creating success on their own terms. Welcome, June. I love that amazing intro.
Thank you. It's such a mouthful. I'm like, oh man, I should have edited that down a little bit.
No, I love
made
that.
me sound good.
I actually love the big. I actually love the big intro like that because it just kind of gives us a little bit of highlight into, also your journey, right? Like the journey, what you bring, and yeah. And I guess we met and connected through your Little Psychic School. Did we decide it was around about 2021? I can't even remember now.
Maybe 22.
Maybe 22.
22, I think, because it just started in 2021. And
Yes.
Yeah, you came in after I think it was like a big 3-day launch type thing that I did. And I remember you came in the same time as Shannon. So they were like, 2 of my faves came in the same time.
That's right. I found you, I guess, when I was, I was a little way into my journey, but I was kind of still a bit in the spiritual closet, and I was kind of trying to find my people and some where to feel safe and share, experiences and things that was happening. And I just happened to come across you and jumped into your Little Psychic School, and the rest is history. Here we are, still connected.
So cool to watch your evolution. You've been killing it.
Yeah, but also and I'm still in your world, in your Little Psychic School. I love hopping in there and connecting with people and jumping in when I can. And I think that this is somewhere, like if you are someone that's listening to this and you were, trying to find your people or a space where you kind of fit in, that's one of these spaces, the people that are in there, they're so welcoming and you feel like you're connected to a community, which I think is really important when you're on this journey, or you certainly start this journey.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly why I created it, actually, is because when I first started, I didn't know where my people were. It was really hard to find them. And I was like, you know what? I'm not resonating with a lot of these communities. These people are, not there's anything wrong with different ways of thinking, but I was just like, these are all like a lot, older than me, and they have this really long way around doing things, and I don't feel like I resonate with a lot of these people. I'm just going to make my own place. I'm just going to make my own community. And that's actually how it started. So I was like, I'm going to make my own friends.
Yes, definitely. And, I guess that's one of those things where you put something out to the universe, right? And you've cultivated that within the Little Psychic School. So I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to really ask you because, everyone's story is really different of how we ended up here, right? It's psychics. Like when we went to school and they were like, what do you want to do for a job? Like it certainly wasn't on the resume, right?
No, not
I'd
at all.
really like to be a psychic medium. So I'd love our listeners to really hear about, some of your journey of, when you first recognized that maybe you had these abilities that was coming through. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so mine started really as a kid, and I was pretty lucky because my parents are like, I mean, they were Catholic. Like my mum's Filipino, so they're all pretty, the majority of them are Catholic, and
Yes.
but she's very open-minded, and my dad was too. So no one ever really. Well, my mum did think I have imaginary friends, so I lie a little bit. But I remember seeing spirit from a pretty young age, and I used to see them figuratively speaking, so like in physical form back then.
Yeah.
And, you know, saying to my mom, like, there's this girl here, her name's Emily, like, blah, 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 telling her all this information. And mum just thought that it was an imaginary friend. Like, she'd go, oh my goodness, I've only got one child. I need to hurry up and have another kid. She needs a sibling because she's going mad. Like, my child is going mad. Literally, that's why she had my sister. Because she thought I was insane. And you know, I thought, okay, maybe it is an imaginary friend, but as the years sort of went on, I continued to have experiences. I always had dreams of, you know, certain things that would happen, and then it would actually happen. I would have like passed over people visit me in dreams and then tell messages, and then I'd mention those messages and they'd be accurate. And my parents were aware of it, but including myself, I never thought that like it was going to be a thing. I was kind of like, oh yeah, that's sort of cool. It happens every now and again. I had no control over when or how it was going to happen. And when I wanted to do it, I couldn't do it. And then when I wasn't trying, like random stuff would come in.
Yes.
And it literally wasn't until my close to my mid 30s, I think. So I think after I had my second daughter, so around 33, I think, when things started to level up and ramp up, and I was seeing, you know, spirit and random things in my mind's eye, more so, sometimes figuratively speaking.
Yeah.
And I just had this really strong feeling like I need to figure out how to get a handle on this, because otherwise it's going to take control of my life and I'm not going to be in control. So I wanted to be in control of it. And that's the only reason why I was drawn to psychic development. I never thought I'm going to end up working in this space, you know, like I'm going to do readings for other people. I never once even thought that was an option, or it wasn't on my radar. Like I always thought psychics were cool. You know, and this is like where a lot of you start to draw the dots, you know, like a lot of my childhood, me and my dad would go to like psychic expos and get readings, and we thought it was the coolest thing ever. But I never would have thought, hey, that's going to be me.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? And I didn't really realize this as well until, like you said, like kind of I went into development is generally, you know, if you're drawn to something, it's because there's an energetic match to it for you, right? So it's
Absolutely.
like, you know, I feel the same. Like when I was growing up watching, you know, the celebrity mediums on the TV and things like that, I didn't really realize at that time I was drawn to that, or I was interested, or it excited me because there was something within me that resonated with that. So it never really sort of crossed my mind that was a thing then.
And you draw all the like, you know, synchronicities and stuff afterwards, which is like whenever anyone would talk about ghost stories or like, you know, I had this weird experience, I'd literally be like, what? And, you know, ears would prick up, edge of my seat, and I'd be like, I'm into this. But you just don't realize this because you're supposed to be in that space. But I mean, I went from doing readings, I did readings professionally for about 5 years. And now I'm also mentoring other spiritual entrepreneurs, psychics, mediums, healers, coaches with their businesses. So it's sort of like flipped on. It's changed, you know, evolved over the years.
Yeah, definitely. And it's important to kind of talk about that as well. Is I wanted to touch back on what you said about, you know, at the time when you went to try and do something, nothing happened, right? And then when you weren't trying, because a lot of people, like I know 100% this was me too. And I know a lot of people feel that way, you know, that it's coming from all directions and I can't control it. There's nothing I can do about it. So, you know, certainly for me, I started to seek someone that could help me understand what was happening, and also so that I control it and switch it off when I didn't want to have it, right? But also to be able to control my experience with it as well, because I think that's a big thing to talk about when a lot of people come into a spiritual awakening. Certainly my experience is that you kind of open this door that some people are frightened to open the door, right? Because you open the door and then the door's open and you're like, shut the door, shut the door, shut the door. Because it can get quite overwhelming.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really scared too. And that was actually a big reason why I held it off for quite some time, because I was like, oh, it's exactly those same thoughts. Like, if I open this up, am I going to see scary things? Is weird stuff going to happen to me and it's going to freak me out? But the thing is, as you know, if you find the right mentor, like, you can control what you experience and what you want to experience and what you don't want to experience. And it comes in levels. And now, like, I'm definitely experiencing a lot of weird things, but I'm okay with it now. Whereas back then I was like, if I see a dragon, I swear to God, I'm not going to be able to cope.
We're going to come to those things. We're going to come to those things.
Bring on the dragons. Now I'm like, bring them on. It's fine.
That's actually a really important point, isn't it? That you're saying is that you have to step and open this door to how it's aligned to you and what your capacity, I think, can hold as well. Yeah. Lots of people get sort of thrown into development and they're like, you have to do this, you have to do this is happening, and then all of a sudden it's like, I can't control it, it's too much and it's scary, so I'm gonna shut the door again, I'm gonna push it closed and probably not revisit that. Like, some people never revisit, some people kind of do dip their toe in. I know for me, like you said, I put it off for quite a long time because that was the capacity of like, I'm just not sure what I'm going to walk into here. What is it going to be? But I think understanding that you are in control of your experience. Like, often I'll hear spirit in charge, you work for spirit. Like, that's not my belief. Like, I believe that it's a relationship between me and spirit, and that I need spirit to work with me in a way that complements my life, not takes over my life, not, makes it feel like I am constantly switched on and I'm having to, tread water with that a bit.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And once you have your boundaries strong, like, they don't generally step over it. So I've had times where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to see things in physical form again. Yeah. And then literally, like, that night, a hand starts apparitioning, like turning up in front of me. And I'm like, I think the hand got to about here, and I was like, okay, I changed my mind.
Yeah, you can dial that back a bit now.
And so the hand just disappears and it's gone. And I was like, oh God, what was that going to be? I don't know what that was going to be. And they're like, we're just testing the waters, we were just slowly, letting it happen to see if you were ready. And I was like, no, okay, I'm not ready. Go back to mind's eye. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? Is we want to cultivate that relationship where there's safety in what we're doing for ourselves, and also honoring, how spirit want to work with us as well. And, when we do open the door to have those experiences, we can also say, hey, just dial that back a bit. Like, that was just a little bit too full on. And I think, certainly for me, I've understood over the years now that there isn't anything to be frightened of, and we can have our boundaries, like you say. And, it's interesting as well, because I've watched also you evolve over the time that we have met as well. And I think that we both have seen each other like move confidence, and also go from kind of being paid mediums to helping other people get into the work that they want to do as well. And I think this is like a really important piece. Is often people go in development and then they're like, oh yeah, like, okay, I'm a psychic medium, what next? What am I going to do now with that? And they start doing readings.
Yes.
Readings. And this was me. Like, I would do the expos, and I do love the expos and meeting lots of people, but you're in the hustle, right? Of the readings.
Yeah, definitely. But that's something that I'm actually really passionate about, is helping you go from that to also then being able to scale your business and help other people if that's what you desire. Some people love doing readings. They only want to do readings. Absolutely. That's amazing. But then for a lot of people, like, you do it for 5, 6 years or whatever, or 4 years or 3 years, and you're like, okay, like I've learned what I needed to from this. I would like to turn this into something else. And there is absolutely a way that you can bring all of your natural intuitive gifts, all the strengths that you have in your life, and create like an actual really unique, like, program, and you can help other people through things. And people always come to me and they say, well, I don't know how to turn all of this into something else, but I do. I can help you to bring all of these things together and be able to help people at a deeper level. Because there's one thing sometimes with readings, and don't get me wrong, I loved doing readings, same as you, but you sort of do one reading and then they don't come back, and then you're like, well, how did they go? You want to see them through the journey. Sometimes it's about that deeper transformation. That's why you've started your programs. And so, I mean, if you're looking to do that, that's definitely a place where you can take it if you're ready for that sort of the next level.
Yeah, that's right. And you're right. Not everybody would want to go on to be a teacher or teach in a specific way. It's not for everyone. And I was always really told that I was like quite a good teacher. In all of my muggle jobs, like if there was anyone ever new, I always used to get them to like induct them. I would always have to do all the inductions with like the new staff. And I was like, oh, but it was like, oh, you're so good at it because you explain really well, and you're patient, and all those things as well. And I think you're right. Like for me, was a natural progression. And let's be honest, like, and I'm just going to call this now because my journey really in starting to teach started with you.
Oh, yes. In the psychic school. I loved that.
Yes, because you asked me, hey, will you come and do a masterclass on mediumship in the little psychic school? And I was like, wait, what? Me? Like, and I remember thinking, I had all these things that were coming up that was like, well, she wants me to like talk about that. And like, I'm not sure if I'm like really qualified enough, or, all of the things kind of started to come up with that. And then I remember thinking, just say yes. It was like, just say yes, just say yes, just say yes. So I just said yes. And and then obviously I came in and I did the masterclass for you. And then I didn't expect like the fact that people would then start reaching out to me and say, how can I get in your world? How can I teach you? Sorry, how can you teach me mediumship? So, and I was kind of like, wait, what? That wasn't planned, but organically it was the breadcrumbs, right? The breadcrumbs from spirit. And I'm guessing as well for you, what your often evolves because you're hearing people say, like, I want to do something with this, but I don't know what to do. And you're like, well, I've done it. Like, I can help other people do it, right?
Yeah, and I do believe that one of my things that I'm naturally good at, and I feel like you're the same actually, is you can see where the strengths in other people, and you can see like their best, version of themselves and where they could be going. And it's funny because like I obviously already had that in my head and I already knew that you were supposed to be doing that, but you weren't there yet. But I didn't even realize. I didn't even know you weren't there yet because I was like, she knows this. Like, teach the class. And people still, like, because I still have people through there obviously in my and in my one-on-one mentoring or my group mentoring, they're like, I just watched that class with Emma. Like, they're still now saying, she's amazing. I'm going to go find her. And they're like, I know, go and find her.
And you know what? That is also a collaboration, right? And I love how you are aligned to that. And I feel the same. It's like, I want everyone to win. Like there's no competition. There's no what's she doing. Like for me, it's really about being aligned and seeing other people rise and do what they love. That's what brings me joy. And like, I know you're exactly the same.
Exactly. Yeah. I like have a sick enjoyment of seeing people develop and then actually living their best lives. And I know that, some people get funny about it. I know because, I work with other intuitives closely and it triggers them. But
Yeah.
I just feel like there's someone for everybody, and it's not a competition because no one can help other people the way you do. And if they're not drawn to you, it's not because you're not necessarily doing everything right. It's because like there's a reason that they should be potentially working with this other person first. And we all have different aspects that we have strengths in, and that, you know, is not our areas that we love to work in. And I also see it that way. It's like, well, if I'm not the person to help you, I want you to find the person who can.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you know,
that energetic match again,
by
isn't
this
it?
person,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm always like, well, you know what, you know, and that's why I have application calls. I'm like, I actually don't feel like we're the right fit, but here's this person, this person, this person, and this person. Go and have a look and see if you feel that, exactly what you said, energetic connection. And they just know, you know, as soon as they see, you know, somebody or they hear them speak, they go, yep, it's you. I know.
Yeah, and that's a really important point, isn't it, to bring up, because like I'm not for everyone and everyone's not for me.
Yeah.
And I feel the same. Like I always want to say to people, like even if, you know, they book a call to work with me, I'll be like, you have to check in with yourself, and you have to say, you know, is this person talking the language that I understand and that resonates with me? You know, do I feel a connection to this person? You know, is this person like doing your due diligence, right? And that's why I always say get in different groups, a bit like at the beginning, right? Get in different groups. You'll see different energy. You'll know the space where you should be and you shouldn't be energetically.
And
It'll
you know,
come across.
definitely, I have people ask me the question, well, you're a psychic. Do you think we're supposed to work together? And I'm like,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They've asked me a few times, like, well, do you see us working together? Are we supposed to work together? And you know, there's so many different factors that come into play with that. I know, yes, I believe I can help you and get you to this next stage. I can help to guide you, but you've got to make the decision. You're the one who's responsible for making the choice, because it doesn't matter what I say. If you, like, you know, you've got to feel that. So I will never say yes or no. I'll say, no, I can get you, help you. And I do believe that I can help you get to the next phase, but it's up to you as to whether it feels right for you. And are you going to put the work in? Like, there's so much that depends on that.
Yeah, definitely. And outsourcing your decisions, hey, was the first thing I thought about that. It's like, well, you know, where are we outsourcing? The decision of like, is this going to work? Because then it's like, well, if it doesn't work, you said that, you know, you said that we were a good match. But I guess that's the pieces that we have to work through, right? As mediums, we have to, you know, I don't think that working on ourselves means we have to fix anything about ourselves, but, you know, we have to look at aspects of ourselves in order to be able to hold space for other people and work through our own stuff. Like we've talked about this before when we've done classes on it, right? About, you know, doing the work as a psychic medium. And doing the work for me really is about understanding myself more in order to be able to hold space for other people. That's how it sort of feels to me. And as someone who is a leader and is leading other people, you know, I know that you've, you know, done work on you. I've done work on myself, but, you know, but more just to, I don't know how you feel about this. Maybe this is what we should talk about. Like for me, it's more about not changing who I am, not getting rid of the shit, just understanding myself at a deeper level and being able to remove a lot of misconceptions that I have about myself, right? And other people.
Yes. Yeah. And I always say anyone who starts in the spiritual development space, especially if you want to start your own business, it's like self-development on crack. Like you literally are going to have to, you'll upcome like so many different layers and levels of your own bullshit that you basically have to get through. And I am spiraling. I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like I'm a strong leader, right? But I, like everybody else, I spiral at least every couple of months where I'm like, I can't do this. This is too hard. Why am I doing this? Why did I pick that? I'm just going to go work at Coles.
Do you actually open the Seek app and start looking for jobs?
So I had an email come through from Seek saying trainer wanted, because this is what I used to do before I did this. I was a trainer, like a teacher. So I'm still teaching, but now I get to teach about fun stuff, not like what I was teaching before. And I actually looked at it and then I went, what are you doing? Like, you literally, like, when I feel into that timeline, I know my soul would die. Like, it's just, light workers are made differently. And that's like something that I feel like a lot of people have to come to terms with, is that if you are made to come here and you have a mission in terms of, you know, light work, spiritual space, however it is that looks for you, the more you are not in alignment, the more you're trying to walk away from that, the more uncomfortable you feel. Like, you literally cannot, like, you can't not come back to this. And you know this because you try to take 6 months off and they come back louder than ever, right? Like, like, you cannot, it just, you can, but it honestly, like, it eats you from the inside out. And I know that from also dealing, you know, and coaching a lot of people through this space, which is, they're like, okay, I need to put this down for a bit, which is totally fine, but they always come back. They always come back. But you've got to do the bullshit first to be able to come back.
That's right. And a lot of that is just your own self-belief, isn't it? And, you know, what, like, I truly believe now that, you know, you receive what you believe. Right. And, you know, everything is created on the back of whatever you believe is possible.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. Your inner reality, your thoughts, like your energy, your emotions, all of that is what creates your, you know, outer reality.
Yeah.
And that's why if you want to have a different outer reality, you do have to deal with your own, you know, thought process, belief system, and slowly, like that, you know, container, I guess, expands and gets bigger, and you are able to achieve higher things, but only if you deal with why you are not believing that about yourself in the first place.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that's, you know, everything comes back. I don't know why this is the theme of that energetic match, right? But I feel like it is, because if you don't believe something is possible, energetically, that thing can never find you because you're not a match to that. Yes. You're not a match to that reality. And like, I've seen this in myself in, you know, working through things and then going, okay, what's the next level, or what do I want to go for, or what do I want to achieve? And then realizing that it's possible. I think even like my Bali retreat that I put out, like, you know, even this freaking podcast that I sat on forever, you know what? The Bali retreat, I was going through so many things and I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I can do this. And, you know, I had it mapped all out, like Spirit downloaded it all when I was like redirected to Melbourne on the way back from Dubai for 6 hours. And all of it was like, everything was there, every piece, but I had to go through with myself a methodical process, right, to clear any residual energy towards the fact that that wasn't available to me.
Yeah, yes, definitely. And sometimes that's all it takes is like a bit of time to almost let that idea integrate. Like, do you know how many times I've had downloads where I'm like, oh, hell no, I am not doing that. Like, I had Spirit say last year, your light language channel just opened up. You're going to be doing this on your podcast. And like, I literally automatic wrote it. And I was like, I literally wrote under it, fuck no.
I listened to your podcast episode when you talked about that, and I was laughing. It made me laugh so much. I was
like, that is not happening. Like, I'm still coming to terms with this on my own. Like, I could barely let it out myself, let alone I'm not going to share this with people. And then it just was like, that idea just takes time to integrate. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I tell you, I was still shaking through it. Like, it was no video on when the actual like light language came out in the meditation. No video, but if you could have seen me, I was like shaking, and I was like taking the deepest breaths. I'm like, all right, let's just let this out.
And I love this because this is where the trust piece comes in, to know that Spirit know better than you. Like they do. They're always friggin', you know, 5 steps ahead of where we are to catch up, because our humanness needs that bit of integration. It's right. I felt that when I did my rebrand, right? And, you know, when I worked with this amazing branding expert, and she was like getting my story out of me. We were looking like, we talked about origin story. She was like, what's your why you're here? How has, you know, all this come about? And then when she said to me, I feel like you're like the spiritual rebel. And I was just like,
I love that.
But it was interesting, right? Because everyone else was like, oh, yeah, I see you like that, but I didn't see me like that.
Yeah.
And what I seen and what my body reacted to when she said that was rebels are outlawed. They're on the
Mhm.
outside. They're not inside. And I was like, I have like spent my whole life, like at school being bullied, never been in the like inside group and like trying to fit in my whole life, that all of a sudden when she said that, it was like all this childhood stuff like triggered in me that I had to sit with. And I actually had a friend do a hypnosis with me because I was really struggling to process
Yeah.
like, the emotions and the stuff that come out with the feeling of, but do I want to be on the outside where everyone's like, no, like I wouldn't see it like that, like
Like
everyone.
when I hear that, I think this is a really cool person that like I want to be part of a spiritual rebel. Like that's
Yeah.
cool. I'm like, I want to be with that person. So I think the
Yes.
opposite.
And
I
I
think
had to
I would
integrate it.
prefer that. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is also you went and sought help, which is what I like too, because if it's funny that you're mentioning this because I'm going through this rebrand process now. I'm literally going backwards and forwards with my mentor. Like, what about
Yeah.
this? What about that? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like I've been having such issues with like, same as you, integrating this like new version of me. Like, who am I? What is this next level version of me?
Yeah.
But if you're struggling with it on your own, you can reach out for other people
100%.
who can help you through it. And I have, like, I had a session on Monday. I'm having one on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two different healers in different areas that are helping me with different things. And
Yeah.
I've been literally verbal diarrheaing. I'm so sorry to my mentor, like 10-minute bloody audios every day. What do you think about this? What about that? I don't know about this. I don't want to be known for this anymore. Whatever, have you spiral that, but you need those people to like help you through it. And that's what we are to other people. But,
Absolutely.
coaches need coaches, mentors need mentors.
Absolutely.
Reach out for help when you need it.
And I love that you said that as well, because I think that's really important. Like I have business mentors. I actually have a mediumship mentor.
Yeah.
And I think that I continue to up level myself and support myself so I can support my students as well.
Definitely.
And even high level, gurus have mentors. And I think that, when a lot of people think about, coming in and doing development or getting a mentor, they're like, oh, it's really expensive or it costs too much, because they're looking at the dollar value of what is this going to cost me financially to have this support. But I think people don't really realize that the value isn't really in what you're paying. It's really the experience that you're having and the fact that you can take yourself so far, but at some point you need someone to get you to the next level. And certainly that was for me. That was 100% why I took my first mentor, because I was at the point where I was like, I've hit my glass ceiling. I can't get anywhere else. I can't understand more. I need someone else's brain to help me understand what's happening with me and get me to that next level. And I think that's the thing that people have to realize, is that often when you work with a mentor, you can get where you want to be probably a hell of a lot quicker. As we know, in the psychic and mediumship space, people sit in circles for like 5 to 7 years before they ever, and some of them never leave the comfort of the circle.
Yeah, I 100% agree with all of that. And that's when I have seen the most growth within myself, within my business, within my spirituality, within my abilities and I came from that belief system of, oh, that's a lot of dollars. Like I remember my first spiritual development program that I did was $700, right? Which is like nothing to me now. And back then I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. Especially, I had 3 young kids and I was thinking, money I could be spending on them, like buying them nice clothes from like, Kmart, which isn't the nicest place, but I'm like, I felt guilty. Like, why am I spending this money on myself? But now I'm realizing like it's an investment. That money comes back. Like tenfold, that money comes back, in your own peace, in your own development. Monetarily speaking, it comes back as well. So down the track, obviously in the beginning you invest a lot in like your own development, but then later on it comes back. And actually I am doing this for my kids, because I've become the best version of myself. I'm a much more present mum. I'm doing something that makes me happy, that lights me up. I am able to provide financially for them now because I invested the money in myself,
That's
which actually is
right.
an investment in them too. I am only working around 20 hours a week now. I used to work a 9 till 5, was
Yeah.
unhappy in what I was doing, shitty, like snipey at my kids because I wasn't happy in what I was doing. I actually said to my daughter the other day, because I've gone from working like 10, 15 hours a week to like 20. And I said, are you sad that mum's working a little bit more hours now? And she's like, no, because you're really happy and you're happy with what it is that you're
Yeah.
doing. She's like, it's, you know, you like your work. So you're happy, you're happier. So that makes me happy. And I was like, oh, stop. Like,
Yes, and it just shows them as well. You've got three girls that, you can do whatever you want to do. You don't have to be like stereotypical 9 to 5 job to, make
if
a
that's not
living.
what
And
makes you happy, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And if I think back to what advice would I give them, I would tell them to 100% go for it. You know,
yeah,
if they wanted to do something like this and invest in themselves. So sometimes I just feel like, what would you tell your children if you want to show them that? Of course, we think our children can achieve anything, they can do anything. Why don't you believe that about yourself? And when I started to see like the success in my business was when I was investing higher dollars into
yeah,
the right coaches, mentors. But then that would come back. Like I remember last year, I spent the most I'd ever spent on a business coach before, and he was spiritual business coach as well. So he understood the energetics as well. And I think I doubled what I paid him within that 3 month period.
yeah,
So
yeah. Amazing,
it's like
amazing.
you have to, yeah, you have to
And
see where that comes.
it's energetic, isn't it? Like, I mean, let's
Yeah,
be honest, like
yeah.
money makes the world go round. And I agree with you. Like, I had so many money wounds, growing up, like,
Same.
with a family didn't really have much money and
Same.
things
I
like
had
that.
two parents that came from extreme poverty. Mum, Philip from the Philippines, a third
Yeah.
world country, literally grew up. She had to take care of pigs. That was like a family of
Yes.
8 that never had any
Yes.
money. My dad was in this after the Second World War. He grew up on rations. When his teeth came through, they were all rotten because he was malnourished. Like,
Yes.
man, that's something that I've worked on probably the hardest is my money.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I
Around
agree.
money.
And also not having like shame or guilt around money. A
Yes.
lot of the time, like you say, as mums especially, we feel guilty about investing money in ourselves because it could go everywhere else but to us. I got
Yeah.
3 kids as well
Yeah.
myself, so
Yes.
like completely understand that. And you don't think twice about dropping $6,000 on braces last week
I
from
know.
my 14-year-old.
New computer for school or something. You're like,
Yeah, yeah,
what all do you want?
that's right. But a lot of us, especially in this space, do have that money, relationship with money where it feels scary or we think that it's not accessible for us. I remember doing some work on money around me, and when money came through to me, it told me that money was a secret. Shh, it's a secret. Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah, in a session that I had. And it was like a hypnosis session where I went and met money, and that's what money told me, that money was
Wow.
a secret.
Yeah.
We shouldn't talk about it, or yeah, it
That's
was
so
quite
interesting.
cool actually.
I like it how you said as well that it depends how fast you want to do it, because that's when, like earlier on, I was too afraid, to invest in mentors and especially a business coach. I was like, what do I need one of those for? I kind of know what I'm doing. I can look up shit,
Yeah.
like, but it's like, again, how fast do you want to do it? You only know what you know. Like, you don't know more than what you know. So
100%.
find a coach, find a business or a mentor or a spiritual mentor that is where you want to be. If you look at
Yeah.
them and you think they have everything that I want, that's who you need to choose. Like, stop
Yeah.
taking advice from people who aren't where you want to be, like from your neighbor who says, oh, don't use your actual name as your business name. That's like business suicide. That's what people told me, and I really just wanted to be June Mack. I'm like, I just want to be myself. That's what I want my
Yes.
business. No, you can't do that. Literally, I didn't have my business name. I didn't use my own name for years because that's what I was listening to. But this person works in an office. Like, why am
Yeah.
I listening to the advice? Which is nothing wrong with that, but he's not where I want to be. So why did I take that advice? I'm like,
That's great advice. That is
now it's
super.
so obvious. Yeah. It's
And
so
put
obvious
yourself
now,
in,
but
yeah, put yourself in rooms with people who you aspire to learn and
yes.
be like, not that you want to be them,
No.
but, for me, it's like, I want to be in a room with you because I value what you're doing and the things that you're saying. And like, so you're my next step. Right.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that, I never believed that, when I started this journey, that this is where I would come to it. And most of the time, really, when I look back, I've got here because I've just followed the breadcrumbs.
Yes.
I've just followed the things that have come my way, and I've got curious and thought, that's interesting. Like, what do I want to know about that? And I know, like, this year, I mean, this is my yes year. I'm just saying yes to everything this year. I mean, and I think that's the thing. It's like, if you're going to say yes, we can throw you some more things to say yes to. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yeah, it just snowballs on top of each other. And that's the thing is, I love what you said, because the more that you trust, and people are like, well, how do I know if it's real? I haven't like trademarked it yet, but I think I've said it to you before, which is like the fuck around and find out technique.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, I'm just going to try it. I feel like this is the next step. I'm just going to give it a go. And then as you see, like, if they start to work out, these things start to work out, you actually get faster and quicker at trusting yourself. And that's where you collapse timelines. That's where you quantum leap, like in, your business, in your life, is because you're like, okay, this came in from spirit. I'm just going to do it. Now I'm literally like, writing fuck no. But did I do it? I still freaking did it. It was like, I didn't want to.
Yeah. I know, mine said, do the damn thing. Do the damn thing.
Just do it. I'm just like, okay, so I'm going. So like recently last year, it was like, you're going to go to Sydney, then you're going to go to Queensland to run your event. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing that for? I don't know, whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you have an opportunity to go to Sydney this month. And I'm like, all right, I'll just stay an extra week and do my event. Oh my goodness, now you have an opportunity to go to Queensland for a wedding. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening exactly the order that they said. All right, so I'll just stay there an extra week and do my event. That's actually what's happening. Yeah, there it is. And I don't even know what's happening. And this is where, like, I think the people who I'm working with are like, June, what are we doing? Like, what's happening in our event? We need to work it all out. I'm like, Spirit's going to tell me in the days coming up to it. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I feel like that definitely about the retreat as well. Obviously when I was on the plane and I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? We can't land in Brisbane because the weather was bad. So they decided to take us to Melbourne to refuel. And I just got my journal out, and all of a sudden it was just like I started to write, and I actually mapped the whole 5 days of the retreat in that time. And I was like, I don't actually need to do too much. I have to turn up and just do the thing that I'm good at. And kind of bring it all together. And it is that breadcrumbs from spirit. And I don't know if I told you the story. I can't even remember if I've shared it here, but when I had the opportunity to go to Dubai for this business retreat, I looked at flights and I was like, oh, it's like a long way from here, right? It's like $2,000 for a flight. And then I just thought, actually, I had a conversation with my husband because I hadn't told him. And we were walking the beach, and he mentioned something. I said, oh, like, everyone's going over to Dubai for this retreat. And he was like, well, why are you not going? And I was like, oh, like, Harry's got his braces he needs on, and it's this money and blah, 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 blah. And he actually turned around and said to me, so I know your hobbies. He was like, this sounds like a really good opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't actually know why you're not going. And it was almost like he gave me permission. Like, I wasn't looking for permission, but it was almost like I got the permission to think I can spend this money. And I mean, obviously it's a business expense, right? Because a business retreat, so that's okay. But the very next day, it was about 36 hours later, I had something on sale on Marketplace, and it was some old stock from something that I had been doing. And I had this girl message me, and it was one of those weird Facebook Marketplace messages where it's like, I'm driving, can you ring me? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like, how when you're selling something on Marketplace and you get those like weird messages. But in all honesty, I'd just come out the shower. I had a towel around me, and I seen this message. I need to speak to you urgently. Can you ring me? And most, like, my humanness would be like, nah, I don't think so. But there was something in me that went, just ring her. Just ring her. And I was standing there in the towel. I actually rang this girl, and what I was selling was some stock from my previous business. And she was like, I'm running a training course today and my supplier has let me down and I need this stock that you have.
Wow.
20 minutes later, she turned up at my house. Like I had to throw on clothes, literally. Turned up at my house and she said, what have you got? And I was like, this, and this. And she said, how much is that? And I said, $2,200.
Oh my gosh, your flight ticket.
Yeah. Actually, it was $2,400. And she said to me, will you take $2,200? And I said, yeah, I will. And she bank deposited me the money, escorted me there and then, dropped straight into my bank account. She took it.
That's so incredible. I love that.
And that was, my flight was $2,100.
The best story. And you made $100 profit.
Yes. And it was like really weird because in that moment, I realized, like, I don't know about you, right? I've never really got the whole manifestation thing. Like, I got it, I knew about it, like, I knew, put it out to the universe, blah, blah, blah. But in that moment, I kind of had this realization that manifestation was actually about making a decision.
Yeah. Yep.
And because up to that point, I hadn't made the decision that I was going to go to Dubai. And then I had the conversation with my hubby. And then I basically was like, okay, I'm going to Dubai. I've made the decision. And then 36 hours later, the money for the flight came.
Yeah, because your energetic frequency hits that level and then it returns, it comes back.
Yeah.
I always used to think, manifestation isn't my thing. Like, it's not my thing. I used to always think
Yes.
that. But I honestly do feel like the past last year, like, I'm starting to understand it and I'm starting to realize, how much of it really is around just what you believe. And I remember thinking, like, so when my husband quit his job, like his business, right? So last year, my husband quit his business and he was like, all right, it's your turn. You've got to like go free throw at this and see if like, you know, you can do it. He's like, I know you can do it. But obviously when it's yourself, you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. And he's like, okay, we've got to try and where do we need to get? You need to get you to this monetary, you know, level so that we can feed our kids. And I remember in my head, literally making the decision, all right, that's what I need to feed my family. I'm going to make that. And I had heard somewhere it takes 6 to 8 weeks, you know, sometimes for the internal changes you're making in your belief system to actually manifest in the physical. And I know it can happen faster. Obviously with your situation, that was a lot quicker. But like maybe that was because that was in my belief system, right?
Yes.
Like, that's how long it's going to take. When you get back from the Philippines, you're going to come back and all these people are going to want to sign with you. Like literally, I got back from the Philippines. Exactly that happened. Exactly that monetary income started to come in. That has been my energetic like thermostat in terms of monetary thermostat. I have not gone below that level you know, since then because I just made that mindset shift. All right, cool. That's what I need to do. I have to do it. So it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it freaking did, but probably exactly happened in that time frame. And I was literally counting the weeks. Okay, why isn't it happening yet? Why is it okay? I've just got 2 more weeks left and we're hitting 8 weeks. As soon as I hit 8 weeks, probably my own gaslighting, but it happened. So,
And it's interesting to think that, isn't it? Because that was in your belief system. It was going to take that long.
Yeah.
So right on. It was going to happen exactly
at
then.
8 weeks. I was like, at 6 weeks, I'm like, it's not happened yet. What's going on?
And that's important to point out as well, isn't it? Because you get quicker at that, I think. Yes. Like I wasn't even doing the thing, but the thing happened. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that was a thing. Right. But I guess because I didn't really have it in my field, but it is important to bring up because you will receive what you believe. So it's taken you to the 8 weeks because that was kind of what you put out in the universe. And this is how we can start to bring things quicker, is look at our belief systems around things, right? And think, okay, what do I need to clear in order for that to maybe come quicker next time, or, you know, all of those things. And I think I felt the same with Bali. Like I put it out and I was like, okay, 10 people maximum. That's what I'm looking for. And then it was like, I mean, I'd be happy with 6. No, 10, it's 10.
That's good to know because I'm currently doing that now with my event. So I bet.
Yes. And I've got 6. So I got
Right.
6. So I'm at 6
That's
and I've got
great.
4 spaces left. So I'm
okay.
like, it's the 10. It's 10.
It'll
Everything that I've organized, like all of the things that I'm getting for the retreat, the little goodies and the cute, the things I'm organizing is all 10. So
Well, yeah. That's funny because Mark and right now for our event that's coming up in May in
Yes.
Queensland, he's got an energetic number in his head, and he's literally gone out and already got that number of like name tags.
Yeah.
Like he's bought all the things ready, so exactly the same for that amount of people.
Definitely.
I'll let you know if we hit it.
Yes, let me know. So tell our listeners, if you're listening to this and you're either in Sydney, New South Wales area, Queensland, tell me a bit about your events that you've got coming up.
Thank you. So I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but the Sydney event it's called the Codes of Your Calling, and I ran it last year in Melbourne. In November, and basically it's around like stepping into the next level version of yourself. So a lot of people are at this point where, or if you're feeling like you are in between these identities, like you sort of need to upgrade or up level, or you're looking to connect with a higher level of your purpose or your mission, but you're unsure like how to get there, kind of like what I'm going through right now, which is like this identity crisis. Basically what this event is for, and it's highly channeled. I worked with Egyptian goddess Hathor on this. I know that sounds wild, but I'm on the right podcast for it.
That's right.
And she's basically channeled the whole event. And this is the one that they're like, okay, you're going to do it in Melbourne first, then you're going to go to Sydney and Gold Coast.
Yeah.
So Sydney is March 28th. I'm just got to double check because I get the dates mixed up.
Yeah.
Yes, March 28th.
Yeah.
And Queensland Gold Coast is May 23rd.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing them, collaborating with other spiritual business owners for these 2 events. And it's an entire day. Come in, receive some light language healing, sound bowl, oracle card stuff, all the fun stuff, but also in grounded strategy. So you're like not leaving there without a plan. You're going to leave with like, these are the steps I know I need to take in order to get me to my next level. Like I'm very spiritual, but I'm also all about the actual proper strategies. And I'm also really normal. So kind of normal.
Well, I mean, that's debatable, but
Yeah, I know. I'm like Egyptian goddess Hathor, help me channel this, but I'm also super normal and down to earth.
And you know what? It is interesting, isn't it? Yeah, because we are just normal. We can just go out and just be normal, June and M, and not have that element as well. Like, I think that's really important to understand that. And if anybody is interested, this definitely will come out before your Sydney event.
Nice.
So I will pop the links. You're going to send me the links, and I'm going to put them in the show notes if you want to see that.
Love to meet you.
And I'm so hoping to get to, because that's the Saturday. It's that week that I am doing my retreat
from
in
your
Bali.
Yeah, because I tried to ask Emma to be a part of my Queensland one, but she's busy gallivanting in Bali, so we just overlap. Yeah,
we did just overlap, and it's really important. Like, mine finishes on the Tuesday, but I know energetically,
I
for me,
also intuitively felt that. I was like, as soon as you said I'm coming back on Tuesday, I was like, no, it's just not going to be a thing.
And that's the thing. Like, I would honor myself in the way that I know that I can't hold space in the way that I want to.
I'm glad that you knew that about yourself.
After doing that, But I'm hoping once I book the flights, maybe I'm back Friday, so you may see me. You may see my face. I may come and see you.
Or just even come for drinks after.
Yes. Oh, I can do that. I can do drinks after.
If you can't make the event, because we're going for drinks after, so come and hang out.
Yes, but June is collaborating with the amazing Mark, who I have already done a podcast episode with, and you hear him talking on my podcast. He's amazing.
Soul. Yeah.
Yes, I had
also from the little psychic school, we're all interbreeding with it. Not interbreeding, we're all working together. We're collaborating.
It's not like that. It's not like that.
Oh God, no. I've got a husband. He's good. We're all married here.
And I'm just about 20 years older than the two of you.
I know. Can we edit that out?
I'm actually going to leave it in. Just
I know, leave it in. It's fine. I'm comfortable.
Of course, of course. But yeah, definitely. And this is an amazing event. So if you are in those areas, have a look at the links. And you know, you've, especially if you're someone like you say is at a crossroads and you're looking for that next level of you and where you want to go. And these two amazing facilitators, I can't highly recommend them enough.
Oh, thank you.
So I think maybe we should wrap up, June, and it's been amazing to chat to you. And we didn't even get to your like Osmumper Awards. That was amazing. But
That's
go and check
okay.
out June, check out her podcast, check out her socials. You'll see all the information on there about that and her beautiful book as well. And she's going to send me the link as well. Remembering Grandpa, which is a beautiful children's book that she co-wrote and illustrated about losing a grandparent. Actually, hold on.
That my dad. Yeah.
About your dad. Hold on. Hang on. I might have to take my headphones
Yeah,
off.
no, go for it. I'm just going to keep speaking about it. It's basically a story that is based off my dad and losing my dad and around my children.
I have it here on my shelf.
Yeah,
Look.
amazing. Yeah. So that's based on my dad and my daughters there. And it was around the fact, like, you know, if you're a medium that's listening, that life goes on. And it's for people that are not, you know, overly spiritual. It fits like every religion. So it's just around the message that as long as the love continues, and we always have them with us. So
Yeah, beautiful. What an amazing thing to finish on. Thank you so much for your time,
you so
June.
much
It's
for
always a
having me.
pleasure to be in your energy and in your company. Love you lots.
Love you lots. You're amazing. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to find out more about Ms. June Mack, all of her details will be on the show notes here. And I look forward to speaking to you next time. All right, everyone. And bye for now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Diary of a Medium, Stories from the Spirit World. If something in today's episode has sparked something within you and you are curious about your own spiritual gifts, then check out my website on how I can support you. If you have your own story to share, then please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to support me, you can subscribe, leave a review, or simply share this with a friend. So until next time, trust yourself, trust spirit, and keep listening to the whispers from the universe. Bye for now.